Good afternoon. Thank you very much for being here. One of the things that when we built the new county administration building, we have a quote in front of that we've inscribed actually in concrete that has a quote from great mayor of Cleveland about 100 years ago named Tom Johnson. He has a great quote saying that we had a vision, or he had a vision of the Cleveland community as being a community where the injury of the least is the concern of all, and we have tried to have that as a guiding principle for us. And this Family Justice Center project is part of that. It's consistent with it. I had been county executive, I think, for about I don't know, 5 minutes or something when Judge Adrine came to me, and we had a meeting about this concept that he is so passionate about. And he wasn't the only one. There are people like the late Janet Cronenberg, who's been gone now from us for a couple years, who are also very passionate about it. But this is something that has been a proven concept in other communities across the country. And Judge Adrine in particular was a champion for it and wanted to bring it here. And I was sold on the concept, and we're trying to help, and that's what today is all about. We all know how dire the problem is. We know that, and a lot of you have heard these statistics, and there's people behind me who are much more familiar with these statistics than I am. But we know that every minute, the estimate is that 20 people become the victim of physical violence by somebody that's a household member or an intimate partner. That since 2001, nearly 12,000 American women were killed by their partners. Almost 1 out of every 5 women experience rape in their lifetimes. Recent studies show that as many as 1 out of 10 senior citizens experience abuse each year. And I know from my work in the justice system, and I know you do too, or many of you do too, that our system wasn't as accommodating or welcoming to victims as it should have been. That there are situations where a victim of violence has to go to multiple locations and talk to multiple people at multiple different stages of the process to talk to different people about trying to get the kind of help that they need. And what we're trying to ensure by our official opening of this Family Justice Center is that those victims of those crimes will not be put in that situation again, where they have to travel to multiple locations to try to get the help that we owe them as a community. We're using a model, by the way, that has been proven. This isn't, I suppose it's experimental for Cleveland, but this is an experiment that has been tried in other communities, and it has worked. It's worked in San Diego and New York City and a lot of other places. And it's not only better for the victim, but it's also demonstrated that there can be a decrease then in subsequent violence, whether it's further abuse or actually a homicide, because we have a more collaborative and wrap-around approach that we can then make available to the victims of violence. So I want to thank all the stakeholders. There's too many for me to mention here. But again, this was a team effort. And I want to turn it over to a person that was really quarterbacking that team. It's not a Browns effort reference after yesterday, but that wasn't successful. But this is going to be successful. I do want to thank the media. I don't make a habit of that, but I want to thank the media for drawing attention to this. I was just talking to Jill and Judge Adrine about this. This facility is open, it's operating, but we want to make sure that people know about it. So we appreciate the media's participation here today because we want to make sure that people know that this facility is open and operating and ready to serve. So at this time, I want to turn it over to, again, a person who for many, many years has very patiently been laboring on this project. And this is a testament to his perseverance and his character and conviction on these issues, and that's Judge Ronald Adrine. Judge.
Thank you. Sure. Thank you. Good afternoon. I want to first say to our county executive that, when I first brought this to him, given what I know about budgetary matters in Cuyahoga County, that I expected that this was going to be a hard sell, and I came prepared to make a hard sell. But it wasn't necessary. And when I laid out for him what we were thinking about, why we were thinking about it, and what we expected to be the outcomes from it in very short order, he said, you know, that just really sounds like something that we ought to be doing, and what can we do to help? And so I want to publicly thank you for everything that you've done in order to make this happen. And I also need to thank Mayor Frank Jackson, who, again, I approached knowing when we approached that the city was having issues as it related to budget. And I recognized, again, that this was very likely to be something that they would think was a good idea, but maybe not a priority, not something that they needed to fund. And again, much to my everlasting and pleasant surprise, he also grasped the concept immediately and said, what can we do to help? So the public piece of this was in place very early on. And ever since then, we've been working on the private piece. We've got partners who are in the nonprofit community. We've got individuals who are out in the street. We have all kinds of people who want to see this happen because it's just the right thing to do. And what we've been doing over the period that we've been working on this, which now is close to 7 years, is we've been trying to put the pieces together. We actually had looked at some 12 to 13 locations before we settled on this one, even though this was probably one of the first locations that we looked at. We thought at the time that we were just a little distant from the Justice Center and that perhaps we could get a little closer, but as time went on, we concluded that this was actually the best location, and I say that for multiple reasons, not the least of which being how inviting this place is, how airy it is, how it has the feel, the right feel for a facility of this type, so that people who are coming here in crisis, when they walk through the door, we want them to feel as though they've come home, and that the people that they meet are there to embrace them and to help them through their problems, instead of sending them out the door to the next location where they'll be sent out the door to the next location, all in an effort to get back to square one, to what they had before the incident that caused them to have to flee their home took place. It's been a journey. It's been pleasant in some extents, and in others, it's been very daunting. There were times when, but for the backing of all of the folks that you see standing behind me, I'm sure I would have been ready to throw in the towel, but they have held me up, and I hope that I've held them up when they got weak too, and we have persevered to get to this point. And as you look around, I think that you will conclude that this is the right place and this is the right time for us to do these things for the public. And we're really blessed because not only do we have all of the public actors, people like Sheriff Bova and folks like the individuals who are going to populate this place from the Witness Victim Service Center and all of the other entities. But we also are in a position where we know that if the time comes that in this space we're able to expand. And so we're extremely happy that we now join some 90 other locations, both in the United States, in Europe, in the Middle East, in Africa, that have family justice centers. We're a little late coming to the party, but we're here. So thank you. Jill, I want to bring Jill Smilik up. She is the manager of the Witness Victim Service Center, amongst other things, and has been the prime mover. You know, I'm a big idea man, but then there's somebody that's got to actually take care of the nuts and bolts. And that's been her job, and she's done it wonderfully. As you look around and you see how this place is appointed and you see how the walls are painted. You should have been here like about 4 weeks ago. You never would have expected that this would have looked as grand as it does now, and that's all about Jill. So it's my pleasure to introduce Jill, and she has some comments.
Thank you. Along those lines, I think I'd first like to start by thanking the building owners, BZT Acquisitions, because they really helped us put this place together in very short order. I'd also like to thank some other county leadership, Ken Mills and Roberto Colon, who are both here today, who work in public safety and justice services. And as this journey got a little bit slower than anybody had anticipated, I think, they never pulled us off of it. So thank you to both of you. I'd also like to thank all of our partner agencies who are behind me. And I can actually say that I can feel them behind me. Like I can feel that they're circling around us and believing in this. So just to list them off pretty quickly, the City of Cleveland Division of Police, and specifically their domestic violence detectives, the City of Cleveland Prosecutor, Cleveland Rape Crisis Center, Domestic Violence and Child Advocacy Center, Frontline Services, and of course Cuyahoga County's Witness Victim Service Center. And I'd also like to acknowledge and thank the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office as well as Legal Aid Services, who are not yet on site here at the Family Justice Center, but we hope they will be any minute. As has already been said today, establishing the center has been a goal and a mission for all of these partners for years. If I could speak on behalf of everybody behind me, I think I would say that interpersonal violence is not a foreign or abstract concept. It's happening every day. It's happening in every neighborhood, and it's happening right now as we're standing here. It's happening to our sisters, it's happening to our sons, it's happening to our friends, and it may be happening to ourselves. We understand that it's very difficult and sometimes very dangerous to seek help, to ask for help. It takes bravery and it takes conviction, and unfortunately, very often it's far too difficult. And so if we can bring one message today, it's that we're here to help you. So if there is a person out there who doesn't know where to go, you don't know who to ask for help, you can come here and we will help. No matter what the situation is, we'll do whatever we can do to make you a little bit safer and to put you back on the path to a healthy and safe life. Thank you.
Wow. That's dangerous. All right. Everybody ready? Yeah. On three. 1, 2, 3.
Really serious. Really serious.
Yeah, those are dangerous.
Yeah.